We have some breaking news on Jalen Hurts. Please, God, don't let it be a shoulder. Sustained a shoulder injury. Make that bigger for me, Xander, please. Congratulations, everyone. Eagles is uncertain to play Saturday versus the Cowboys due to a sustained shoulder that he suffered. Man, I feel terrible. I feel terrible. Man, this kid has given his ass and soul to this fucking team all year long. And you fucking ran that guy into fucking the IR list for no reason on Sunday. And that front office should be held accountable. The front office should be held accountable. I want to bring Garry Cobb in. Gary, we have breaking news now that Jalen Hurts may miss the game on Saturday. Show Gary, because I'm going to give this to Gary. Show what's Eagles quarterback MVP candidate Jalen Hurts is uncertain to play Saturday versus the Cowboys due to a sustained shoulder that he suffered during the game. Dude, here's been ranting about here today. You have a shitty 31st ranked run defense in Chicago. Yeah. You run that guy 17 times. You have a 1,300-yard back, Gary. What are you doing? And you don't run him until the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this pretty much the whole season because, from being around the game, as if you're taking up inside and where he's taking shots, you're risking the entire season. I mean, that's why I didn't want him to, continue with all of the, run pass options, where he's running the ball too much. You're going like, it looks great and everything, but every time you do this, all you need is one time, and then this whole party is over. So hopefully, it'll just be this time, but they have got to realize that when they are asking him and he's going inside and guys are going to get shots at him. I was just at the gym today and I was telling them, look, when I was playing for Buddy Ryan, are you kidding me? Hey, we're going to get shots at the guy. I mean, and then, he's going to get so many shots where there's no way he can protect himself from everybody. And you've got guys landing on him. See, now they have made it now where they make it harder and they throw penalties if you land on the quarterback. Years ago, hey, they told us, look, we're going to pull you over here and sit you down if you don't land on that quarterback. So, I'm not shocked that
I'm not either.
I'm not. It's not a shock, but from when you've been around the thing and you see people like, I'm at different times with Cam Newton. You know how big Cam Newton is? When he came in the league, looked like a monster, 6'4", 6'5", and a big physical. Where is he playing at?
He can't even raise his arms.
Yeah, come on. So I've seen, guys who are specimens, but if they're running that ball, you're going to take so many shots that it really puts everything at risk. So I hate to hear that. Hopefully, it's not going to be as much as it looks like. But, I've been around the thing, and you know what guys used to say? Don't say that. Don't say that. You're jinxing. I was going, man, look, forget some jinx. I said, man, this is when you're out there, this is not play, And even though we say play football, really it's not a game. It's violent. It is a violent fight. It is not, just a little game like we're out here playing tennis or for that matter, basketball or baseball. No, these guys are coming. If you're close, you're down there close, you see collisions, you know that this is more than just a game. It is violent. So therefore, guys get hurt. You try to protect the quarterback. You try to protect your quarterback because you know if he goes down, the party is not going to go on like that.
You know what, though, Gary? I'll tell you what, some people over here in the chat are going like this. Well, they're saying it's not that serious. Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing if I'm Dan Quinn. I'm making sure if I'm the Cowboys, I put a hat on that, and I'm sure I beat that guy up like the Chicago Bears did. And I'll tell you what, you want to see some interceptions? Hit him. Hit him. Yeah. Even if you take a 15-yard penalty, hit him. I'm going to hit Jalen Hurts on Saturday until that guy takes a knee. And people don't want to, but right, how about this? They don't want to hear this. Watch this. That's what they're being told in that locker room.
I mean, it's football. This is a violent sport, It's a violent sport. You're going to have collisions. People, look, how many Bears went down during the game? I mean, I don't know. It started out almost, it seemed like after every play, a Bear was laying on the ground. So, football it's not for the faint of heart. And you know that when you have a guy carrying the ball, there's always a chance because he cannot see everybody that's coming after him. He can't see him. And then there are guys that are going to land on him, They're gonna land on him. And so this is part of the game. And I've been saying all along, but I said, I really would like them to go to conventional running game. So you take Jalen out of it. I don't want Jalen making a decision and he's in there. And if he gets seriously hurt, hopefully this isn't a serious one, but if he were to get seriously hurt where it's like, see ya, like we'll see you next year, then what everybody, then look at all the mess that's going to be on everybody's face because and their coaching staff has got to know, look, every time we call this and we got this guy out here, are we willing to risk our season?
And Gary, there's where if you're going to have a dual threat quarterback, you've got to manage this guy different than a passer.
That's right.
You just can't randomly run him 17 times.
Yep.
Because part of the game plan against a 31st worst run. You got a 1,200-yard back sitting behind you.
Yeah.
And you really utilize him, Gary. Gary, what would go into that decision, you think, not to play Sanders until like this half?
Well, I don't know that they're sitting down making that decision. The thing is, they're not making it a point to say, you know what, we want to give the ball to Sanders. We got to intentionally do it. They go into the game where, look, and I know that they have a confidence in their passing game. But my goodness, it's a windy day in Chicago. How many times are you going to throw the ball? You're going to come out, and, they've been doing it, and they've gotten away with it. But normally you don't come out and throw the ball, 13 times in a row or, like 8 times in a row. But they've been able to do that. But, and even Jalen said something about it, which is it was so cold in Chicago, plus the wind is blowing. It's a difficult place to go and throw the ball that much, So I thought that I would have liked to seen them even have a go in where they're thinking where they're trying to take what the defense gives them, to at least gather a rhythm a little bit, But they went in and they started taking shots. I don't know how many passes. Well, really, I know AJ had. They threw the ball 37 times. Yeah. They threw, and all they were doing was throwing to their wideouts mainly.
Yep.
Very few throws to anybody else, even though you basically had, most of the throws going to AJ and Devontae, so Man, I think they learned something from this. I think they
I'll tell you what, hey, hopefully, like you said, it doesn't limit the game plan against the Cowboys on Saturday here. I want to go to the other side of the ball here for a minute, though. Have you – the impact that Sue and Joseph have had on the front seven, Gary, even on and with Hard has been remarkable. Have you been shocked?
Yeah, I guess I'm surprised to an extent, but at the same time, I got to give Howie a lot of credit. The people that he's brought in, he's brought every guy that he's brought in here. They made sure they were team guys, who are going to, if anything, they're going to get the way this team is going and impact, and they're thinking team and everything, that they're going to get on board. And if anything, they're going to make this team closer and more focused on winning. And they're not me guys. They're guys that are going to come in, do their job, and they're going to get on board. And they're not going to be guys that would come in and disturb the flow, and be the kind of selfish guys. They're pros too, because times I've been over there, you see the older guys going through detail about the game that they're playing, and really working almost as mentors and guys that are educating these guys as much as possible about the team they're getting ready to play and what they want to accomplish. And they really have brought those kind of guys in. And it seemed like, if anything, it's made them better, because some of these guys are picking up a lot of the things that they're talking about, like Sue. You see, Sue, of course, and Joseph and all those guys. And I have to say, the guys in the secondary too, they have made it a point. Every one of these guys are pros. They're not guys that are just trying to pad their stats and everything. Every game is all about winning. And really, I think they've been educating a lot of these younger guys. And if anything, they stepped up again. You see the way Sweat is playing. I mean, Hassan Reddick just had the game he had yesterday, it seemed like there might have been 3 Hassan Reddicks on the field. I mean, how many plays did he make? I mean,
Gary, last 7 games, he's been absolutely unreal, and I think he's been more effective than Micah Parsons in Dallas the last 7 weeks.
Well, that's true. If you look at both of them and look at what they've done, I definitely think that Hassan Reddick has been the better of the two. You say in the last 7 games or whatever. From what I've seen, he has an impact in every game, and he's made big plays, forcing fumbles and recovering them. I mean, he's been doing it all. Hopefully he can continue at this rate. That defense continues to play like that, because clearly the defense kept them in that game, and the defense really is one of the big reasons they won that football game.
Gary, let's throw this at you. Could there be possibly any advantage? Let's just say Jalen can't go on Saturday and you put Minshew in. Could there be any advantage at all that you have, because there's not a lot of game film? Here's a guy that's just walking in, and how many times have you and I seen this? Hell, you've seen it personally firsthand with Nick Foles.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, is there any advantage to the unknown if you're the Cowboys and Dan Quinn if something like that happens? And by the way, this little bit of news, now if you're Dan Quinn and the Cowboys, you got to game plan that. Well, is it Minshew now, or is it Hurts, or is it both? So that makes you have to work a little harder also for New Year's, for Christmas Eve.
I definitely think it puts that question mark out there. And when you're talking about a different quarterback, a guy who's going to make different decisions, and Minshew is the kind, he makes quick decisions, but he's not Jalen Hurts. He thinks differently. So you're probably going to see a guy doing a few things at least differently. He's able to run. He's got the ability to run. He could run the option. I don't know how much they'll do it, but clearly it is something for the Cowboys to think about. It's a big question mark, because you don't know what you're going to get from him, and he hasn't been in there. He hasn't been on the tape very much. So that is a question mark. It's something that they would be sitting there and having to think about. And who knows what Minshew, how he will run the offense compared to how, Jalen ran the offense.
Finally here, this news breaking as we were bringing you on. How do you see this game playing out on Saturday?
When you bring in such a huge factor, question mark, I think it's real difficult for me to say that now. Even though I still like the Eagles, because they've shown us they find ways to win. I think this team finds ways to win. I think that's something that's going to help them going forward. And unfortunately, I saw the Cowboys, they find ways to lose. Dak is not playing well.
I call them the Dallas Chernobyls.
Hey, I mean, there's some choking going on over there. I mean, I don't know how many apples they got in the locker room, but there's some choking going on over there because, come on, they're not supposed to lose that game. You know, how do you lose that game? And I'm not just talking about the players either. I'm talking about, poor coaching job, poor decision making. But the way they lost that game, like I said, somebody is eating those Macintosh apples. I could tell it was a Macintosh.
Hey, brother, I love you, man. We got to roll. I appreciate it, man. Should be very
have a good one.
Love you, man. That's Garry Cobb, Fox 29. Don't forget. Breaking news. Jalen Hurts is hurt. These are the worst I told you so's. These are the worst. These are the worst. Hey, do I hope you damn right. These are the worst. Blame that entire offensive coaching staff in Philadelphia for Jalen Hurts' injury. Congratulations. And potentially in home field advantage, jeopardy. Why? Because you ran your quarterback into the ground. I don't know how dumber you can be. Okay, 85, you're right, because that's exactly what the Eagles want to do is put that out there. They put him on the injured list for a reason. Not for shits and giggles. You're right. No. You probably got it covered. You must know more than everyone else. No, you got wishful thinking going on. He's questionable. I'm going to tell you this. Let me tell you what I would do if I'm Dan Quinn. I'm going to beat up Jalen Hurts and take cheap shots at that shoulder all day long. All day long come Christmas Eve. I'm going to beat on him like a drum. I'm going to slam him. And by the way, your running quarterback will not be dual threat on Saturday. There won't be any dual threat anything. He takes off running and Michael Parsons lays that guy out, takes him out for the remainder of the night in April. See you in April. Sills, what's in April? The draft. One and done. He did finish the game in Chicago. I like Anthony's assessment. Yeah, Carson Wentz, after he blew his knee out, he finished the play in Los Angeles. Look at Clarence. Take cheap shots, Sills? Are you under the assumption that they don't take cheap shots at running quarterbacks in the NFL? Clarence, the hell kind of ball game do you watch? My take in the first hour has turned out to be poetic justice here for someone to have to call out the coaching staff and their accountability. You got the kid hurt and beat. Watch this. It's a ploy. Okay. I'm going to read it because you're a good man, 85. It's a ploy making Quinn sweat. He'll start and win. Okay, great. I don't subscribe to anything you just said, but I do dig you. I know. Hey, Tone, right. They don't want to. Here. My point today, the entire show, has been they beat that kid up. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. He's going to be Kyler Murray. This is why you don't pay guys like this $50 million unless you take care of him. And the most pathetic part of this is you can. You got a 1,300-yard fucking back. Miles Sanders is 190 yards away from 1,300. And Howie doesn't want to pay him, so he sat his ass and got the kid banged up. He's probably going to play. I'm not saying he's not going to play Saturday, Hurts. What's the point? The shitty Bears. So both backs leave the game banged up. Congratulations. Hey, one guy got 1,000 yards. How dumb. How dumb. What's a reach, Yale? That running quarterbacks get hit and hurt? I don't think that's a reach, guy. I actually have history and facts on my side. I knew it wouldn't be long before some jackass like Words would throw that out there. You got your wish? Are you out of your tree? If you think that I would like Jalen Hurts hurt, you're just an imbecile. You're one of those guys who puts the fake racist narrative. Now, Sileo got his wish and wishful thinking. Some of you are so pathetic. Own comments show you the ignorance of how you are lowbrow thinking people. Xander says this is every Eagle fan's worst nightmare, and it was entirely avoidable. Amen. It's not the point, Stephen, or Stefan, excuse me, sir, on how hurt he is. It's It's the fact that this is who he is. Shane Steichen. Dude, I hope somebody tomorrow asks these coaches. Sirianni, after the game on Sunday, didn't want to answer when Hurts took off down the field and why he did that play. And I mean, why would you throw the ball 37 times in 20-degree weather into Chicago against the 31st worst run? Tell me that with a 1,200-yard back in the backfield. What is the point?